In an era when devices monitor our every heartbeat, when patients tell their cancer journey stories, they don't just process trauma. To sit with a woman who embodies transformation itself, Dr. Monica Anderson.
What he said was, we see a mass. I had never heard of it, didn't study it in school. It just, it's so uncommon. It's less than 2%. I am naturally optimistic. Had two major surgeries, and after the second time, which was an even more invasive surgery,
in an era when devices monitor our every heartbeat, data predicts our next diagnosis, and professionals rush to keep up, something essential is slipping away. The voice behind the condition, the memory behind the treatment. One study revealed that when patients tell their cancer journey stories, they don't just process trauma, they enhance well-being, reduce isolation, and bring the clinician-patient gap closer. Another study found that humor isn't a luxury for cancer patients, it's a lifeline. In a radiotherapy center, 79% of patients reported that laughter reduced their anxiety, and 86% stated that a sense of humor was important in the care experience. And yet, even with all the innovations, the deepest barrier isn't in the machine, it's in the system. Research shows that people who felt racial discrimination during medical treatment were significantly more likely to distrust the healthcare system, especially those with prior cancer. Behind every polished success story lies the struggle no one sees, the invisible labor of women redefining leadership, breaking stereotypes, and rewriting narratives on their own terms. And that's what this episode is about today. Power of reinvention, storytelling, and purpose in a world that's constantly demanding more but rarely asking why. Welcome to another thought-provoking episode of Khan Clinics. I'm your host, Dr. Amir Khan, and today I'm deeply honored to sit with a woman who embodies transformation itself, Dr. Monica Anderson. Mo, she goes by, is better known as the unstoppable force, blending medicine, motivation, and mastery. From the dental chair to best-selling books, from hosting hit podcasts to inspiring audiences on Good Morning Texas and Fox News. Best-selling author of Never Close Your Heart and Launch Your Self-Publishing Journey, Dr. Mo doesn't just talk about resilience. She's lived it. Today, she continues to change lives as a speaker, podcast host, and founder of Drop the Drugs Inc., a non-profit dedicated to fighting prescription drug misuse. Dr. Anderson, welcome to the show.
Wow, what a fabulous introduction. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. I've been looking forward to this opportunity.
And it's a pleasure having you, ma'am. Ma'am, our audience is intrigued by your journey and your experience of surviving a rare cancer, diagnosis that changed the way you saw life and then brought about success after hardship. What truly mattered and what made you change?
Wow, that's a good question, a broad question. I'll give the backstory in that in 2012, I was actually in training in Milwaukee for a new position I'd gotten as director of a benefits administration company. I won't say the name as I'm representing myself today. And during that training, I felt I went to dinner with a friend, Dr. Winter, And afterward, I'd been there a day. Afterward, I had nausea, weakness, fatigue, and I thought it was the fish dinner we'd had. I thought it was food poisoning. So I pushed through the week, Dr. Khan, and I got so ill that all I could do was get through our trainings in HR during the day, and I would go back to the hotel at 5 and get in the bed. I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat. I couldn't keep food down. Long story short, I made it back to Austin, where I was living at the time, and could barely carry my luggage. I was so weak. About 2 a.m., I got this incredible pain, drove myself to the hospital. I've been chastised for that. Please don't feel the need to fuss at me. But I drove myself to the ER, and I was saying, just give me some fluids. You know how we are. We think we know everything. I'm a biology
Sure.
major, so of course I know everything.
Yeah.
And the physician insisted on doing an MRI. I'm waiting in the room alone, curled up in pain. And he came back and said words that totally changed my life. And it wasn't the sentence, it was the period at the end of the sentence that marked the time before cancer and after cancer. And what he said was, we see a mass. And of course,
Mm.
being in healthcare now, 33 years, even though not all masses are malignant, my mind went there. And I was correct. In fact, the differential diagnosis, kudos to the radiologist, was gastrointestinal stromal tumor, which is a rare sarcoma. I had never heard of it, didn't study it in school. It just, it's so uncommon. It's less than 2% of all cancers. And it was devastating. I was alone. It's 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning now. And you're telling me, as I'm just starting my new life, recently moved to Austin, brand new job, that I'm going to have a major surgery and take a medication for the rest of my life because they can't cure it, but manage it. And with that, to be honest, there was about a year afterwards where I was in functional depression. We tend to, think of depression as people curled up in a corner and just crying all day, curtains drawn. But honestly, that's a luxury. It's like fainting. You have to have the luxury to be able to faint. I couldn't do that. I have to take care of myself. So after 8 weeks, whatever it was, this was 2012, I went back to work, and I was just existing, just doing what I had to do to get through each day. However, I am naturally optimistic. And what I've learned in my research is that after traumatic times, we wonder how some people come back and, they've got one leg, but they're skiing or running in a marathon. And then others just never seem to recover. But the research indicates that it's just the way you're wired, to use a layman's term. And I am wired to bounce back. I'm like a weeble. I don't know if you know weebles. They wobble, but they don't fall down. And
Yeah.
slowly but surely, I found my smile again. I found my natural sense of humor. And I found that my purpose changed from entertainment, which a lot of my speaking at that point was more humorous, a lot of my speaking and writing, to empowerment and resilience and encouraging others to overcome the obstacles and challenges in their life. And that's what I've continued to do to this day. I've had two major surgeries, and after the second time, which was an even more invasive surgery, I bounced back even faster. To my surprise, I thought that one would take me out, honestly, but it's my faith and my family's support, and just knowing that I had to continue and that people were watching me. People were watching to see how I would cope with this, and not to prove them wrong, but to prove myself right, that I can get through anything. So I apologize. That was a long answer, but I wasn't quite
Well,
sure
no,
what that
it was
question.
quite a brilliant answer, Mo, because our audience needs to listen and hear this from a professional, a woman, and then a woman of color. And a lot of times we don't find our purpose. And then destiny brings us on a cross path where something happens and it changes everything. What a remarkable journey we've just experienced together. The path to health isn't always straight, but it's always worth the effort. I hope today's conversation inspired you to take the next step in your wellness journey, armed with new knowledge and a fresh perspective. If today's episode left you inspired, share it with people, someone who need to hear this. Give us a thumbs up and your opinion. Keep exploring, keep evolving, and we'll see you in the next episode of Khan Clinics.